This image shows a $3 billion floating city. Vessels like the USS Tripoli and Abraham Lincoln represent the apex of global military firepower in 2026, equipped with the most advanced radar systems, stealth fighters, and guided missiles on Earth. But deep inside the hull, a very basic system has failed. The thousands of highly trained sailors operating these machines are running out of food. To understand how an advanced warship runs out of rations, we have to trace the crisis back to its root. This stark, isolated industrial layout is an Iranian nuclear facility. By late 2024, rapid uranium enrichment here caused traditional diplomatic channels to completely break down. In June 2025, the tensions snapped into a 12-day war. The United States and Israel bypassed proxy skirmishes entirely and launched direct kinetic strikes against highly secure nuclear installations like Fordo and Natanz. The military objective was a decapitation strike. The coalition targeted human capital rather than physical centrifuges, eliminating 60 top military commanders and scientists to paralyze the nation's decision-making apparatus. The underlying calculation was straightforward: inflict such catastrophic losses on the top tier of leadership that the country would be forced into immediate submission, firmly tipping the power balance of the Middle East. The reality of military psychology proved otherwise. Erasing an adversary's command structure removes their safety valve. You trap them in a corner where they have absolutely nothing left to lose. By February 2026, under the hyper-aggressive leadership of Mojtaba Khamenei, the retaliation arrived. Dubbed Epic Fury, the counteroffensive launched with severe intensity. The sheer volume of the response broke every conventional containment strategy. Within weeks, energy production in neighboring states halted, and 9 different nations were pulled directly into an active, overlapping conflict. According to a recent academic paper assessing the Pentagon's response, the military's advanced AI models completely failed to predict the speed and scale of this expansion. This diagram illustrates a structural flaw called temporal nodes. The AI systems could not view the conflict as a continuous, escalating narrative. Instead, they processed the war as isolated snapshots of data, interpreting massive missile barrages as standard, localized tit-for-tat exchanges. You can see the consequences of that blind spot in this image of Royal Air Force Akrotiri in Cyprus. When missiles hit this British military installation, the AI failed to immediately recognize that striking a European Union territory crosses a massive geopolitical threshold. Algorithms ingest historical data and logistical readouts. They do not comprehend human vengeance, panic, or irrational emotion, rendering them highly unreliable when predicting existential, systemic warfare. This animated map highlights the Strait of Hormuz. 25% of global crude oil squeezes through here. As it became an active conflict zone, ships detoured entirely around Africa, adding millions in costs. Global panic buying spiked crude oil to $183 a barrel. That financial panic is the exact reason our $3 billion warship in the ocean is currently rationing food. Modern militaries rely on the same civilian, just-in-time logistics model that supplies your local grocery store. A navy does not grow its own food or independently fly in daily resupplies. When commercial airspace is locked down and private cargo companies refuse to sail into waters filled with active missile debris, that supply chain instantly snaps. You do not need to pierce the armor of a supercarrier to neutralize it. Cutting off the civilian logistical networks that feed the crew paralyzes the weapon entirely. By April 2026, the sheer weight of mutual economic devastation forced the opposing superpowers into negotiations. Military victory was no longer mathematically feasible. This sprawling government complex in Islamabad became the staging ground for a ceasefire. Facing severe domestic economic pressure, Pakistan opportunistically brokered the talks, positioning itself as a neutral global mediator to extract much-needed international financial concessions. Inside the hotel, the atmosphere is defined by profound mistrust. Look at U.S. Delegate Jared Kushner here. His delegation arrived in a Flying Fortress aircraft. Hotel access requires strict facial recognition, and scientists are chemically testing every bite of food the diplomats eat to prevent assassination. Across the highly secure table, the Iranian delegation initiated their negotiations by demanding $500 billion in war reparations. In behavioral economics, this is called anchoring, putting down an impossible, massive number, strictly to dominate the psychological baseline of the negotiations. While diplomats test their food and pass paper proposals inside the fortress, the physical violence outside hasn't stopped. Israel continues heavy bombardment against Hezbollah positions in Lebanon, citing absolute necessity for national security. In response, the aerospace commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps issued a direct, public ultimatum. If the U.S. resumes any kinetic strikes, Iran will completely obliterate the remaining oil refineries across the Middle East. Diplomacy and active destruction have converged into a single, permanent state. In this environment, a signed peace treaty exists alongside ongoing missile exchanges, turning traditional definitions of victory and defeat into relics of the past.